What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another video. Cheers. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what we wish we knew sooner before getting into the Uber Black business. Now, I'm going to start off with SUVs because obviously that's like the first thing before you get into this business to get, is SUVs. So what I wish we knew sooner when it came to SUVs is getting the right SUV, which I felt like we did make a mistake by buying a Range Rover because we turned it into a business instead of just relying on rideshare platforms. But we did make a mistake if we were to just rely on the rideshare platforms, because when it comes to the Range Rover, it's a medium-sized SUV. You only can seat 5 people, really 4. So on the Uber or Lyft platforms, you're only able to do Black, Comfort, and X, which your earning potential is capped because you only got 3 ride types.
Well, to be fair, when we started, nobody made any type of content, and I don't know if it's like a Gen Z Gen Z thing, but like I'm the type of person to like look up whatever it is that I'm like, looking up, or like I'm the type of person to like look up things that like we are looking to get into. So like we've gotten into like a lot of different things. So
Yes.
When it comes down to Uber Black, like the first thing we did was we try to look on YouTube, we try to look on TikTok, we try to look on like different social media platforms just to get an idea of like how it worked, right? And nobody was making videos at the time aside from like making like income claims. And I remember vividly, it was just like a guy who owns a Tesla, and he was just talking about how he got out of it. So nothing was helpful. So whenever we got into it, like the saying, you do better when you know better. I didn't know that there was different types of tiers when it comes down to Uber Black. I thought Uber Black was Uber Black. I didn't know that there was Uber Black XXL or XL,
Yes.
SUV. Like, I didn't know there were like different like tiers. So like I feel like if we knew that, we would have never have gotten the Range Rover. We probably would have got like a Cadillac. But I don't regret the fact that we got the Rover, because majority of his clients that we converted came from the Rover.
Yes, it helped us build a private clientele
And stand out.
Yes, because we was the only car in Houston.
Yeah.
That was doing Uber Black and a Range Rover. Even when we went to the permitting center here to register the Range Rover, it was like, a Range Rover? We don't even know if that qualified. So it was kind of cool.
We were not kidding. We were like, oh shit, it doesn't qualify. It should qualify.
Right.
So we got scared a little bit, but it worked out.
Yes, and like she said, nobody was really talking about it. They always talked about the money you can make or the reasons they were getting out. So we really just went in head first and learned the hard way, which is why we sharing this experience with y'all. Now, I'm not saying buying a medium-sized SUV is bad. Just identify what you're going to get into this business for. Because if you're strictly just trying to, run up some rides on the rideshare platforms, get a medium-sized SUV if it's in your budget. But if you're trying to make it a business, it's not a good thing to do. It's just better to get a large-size SUV like a Chevy Suburban, GMC Yukon XL, Ford Expedition Max. Those are the type of SUVs you want whenever you're trying to make it an actual business. Because in this business, the transportation space, it's all about comfort and luxury, especially when it comes to like traveling. You don't want your clients to be like bunched up and then their bags and suitcases like real close to them. You want them to have space to be able to like kick back and relax and breathe and do whatever they want. So moral of the go ahead.
I do want to include this, but like I said, you do better when you know better. So like now that we know that, whenever we get like certain private clients that want a specific, like if they're like a private client that's in a specific like tax bracket or like a specific echelon, we typically always give them the Cadillac.
Yes.
We don't like even go with the Rover, even though they know us from the Rover, because like he said, you want to provide that experience. So I feel like as fleet owners and like being able to network with other drivers, like that came in handy. But overall, I mean, like we wouldn't have known if we didn't learn that lesson the hard way.
Yes, and it's pretty dope because we scaled to a space where we got options now. We got medium-sized SUVs, large-sized SUVs. So that's pretty cool and dope. So point of the video is if you gonna get into this business, if you want to make it a business, get a large size SUV. Medium size SUVs work as well when it comes to building a private clientele, but your target audience is different. It's typically going to be single people or couples. Like, for example, the Rover was a 5-seater. It only worked well for 2 people. Just, you know, like if they had big bags and suitcases, we was able to fit it in a Rover pretty comfortably without it being like too tight. So yeah, just know what you're getting into it for. And then once you identify that, you pick a SUV and then find your target audience of people. Now, the next thing we wish we knew sooner was TAT when it came to private clients, or when it comes to private clients, because whenever I first started, I was kind of like, you know, I'm kind of a guy that, you know, I'm just like, I want things
He
fast.
has unrealistic expectations.
Yes. So I'm just da 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 da. So every time I'm driving Uber before I actually start building a private clientele, I'll come home or I'll be on the phone with her. We'll talk about it. And I'm just like, damn, I'm over here servicing different people every day for one time.
Yeah, because they were visiting.
Yeah, I wanted like a consistent private clientele where I was servicing them every day, which it was so hard to find those clients at first. And then I started learning the game. Instead of just getting them from the Rideshare platform, I start going outside of them and talking to them, networking with people. So I just wish I knew TAT was kind of going to be slow. But once you kind of understand the game, it gets faster because you put yourself out there more.
I mean, and also to be fair, he did get a long-term client that did require him because he was an attorney, and it's such a pain in the ass to like go to the courthouse and like have your own car, because first you have to pay for it, find parking, and you know, all of that. So it ended up working out. He got his first private client his second week. But overall, like if you're coming into the business and you are trying to make it a business, like have some grace and have some realistic expectations. Like don't just expect like, okay, if I pick up 100 people, then at least one is going to be long term. 1 or 2 may be like your private clients as far as like when they're in town, or
Yes.
maybe like airport rides, which at that point, if they're coming often, you can offer an airport membership, which is what we incorporated in our business model. But don't just like expect like just because you're a month in or even 2 weeks in that, you know, you should have a private client, or, you know.
And also, it just depends on how you come off as well. A lot of these drivers, they don't know how to pitch their services right, or are they doing something wrong inside of their
Yeah,
service?
like don't drive somebody and then like when you're done with driving them and you're at the destination, hand them your business card.
That's
like,
outdated.
you know.
That worked maybe when Uber Black first came out. That don't work no more. There's too many drivers. It's oversaturated. When it comes to drivers, of course. And let me make sure, because they like, oh yeah, he said oversaturated. I'm saying it's oversaturated of drivers all doing the same thing. Meaning what she said, you pick them up, drop them off, and then you try to give them a business card.
I don't believe in oversaturation, so
Me neither, but I'm saying like that technique or that strategy is outdated. It don't
yes.
work no more.
Yes. Yes.
So yes, so don't do that. Find different ways where you can put yourself out there to bring in different clients. Don't just try to give them a ride and give them your card, because at the end of the day, you want a private clientele. You need to provide an experience, not just a ride. So
And also, this is not like a motivational speech or anything like that, but going back to like oversaturation, don't get discouraged just because you're not able to book a long-term private client like right off the bat, because realistically, like there are hundreds of other drivers. There's Uber, there's Lyft, there's Alto in Houston, and there's like a bunch of different like limousine companies. But that shows you that the opportunity is there, because if not, like Uber would not be in business today. Lyft would not be in business today. Like they would pull out of Houston specifically. So like don't get discouraged just because like, you know, something's not working out, and don't think like automatically like, oh, well, there's just too many people doing it, so, you know, I can't come in and like convert. There's ways to convert. You just have to strategize and learn and implement things as you gain experience, because what may have worked for him may not work for you, but it also depends on how you approach and how you basically go about it, if that makes sense.
and also your target audience. I'm gonna add that in. What I wish, or what we wish we knew sooner, was target audience. I was trying to sell my service to anybody whenever I first started, and I learned the hard way that everybody can't afford that. So they'll try to like negotiate your prices.
Yes, and don't.
Yeah, don't negotiate, because then you like, oh damn, why did I do that? You'll regret it later. And then dealing with that type of client is a headache. People in the high tax brackets, they don't negotiate your prices. They know what, you know, they paying for a service, so they expect that service. They're not gonna be like, man, 120 an hour is a lot, man. I can't afford that. So know your target audience. Don't try to sell your services to low tax bracket people or middle class people. I'm just be honest, it's just not a good thing to do. So write that down. Focused on high tax bracket people. Next is seasons. Uber Black is a seasonal thing.
To a certain extent.
To a certain extent, because private clients always going to be there once you build that long-term relationship. But Uber Black, like, I'm trying to find the best way to explain
Think of it like serving. Like Thursday through Sunday or Thursday through Saturday, it's going to be the busiest. Monday to Tuesday, not that many people are going to go out and eat, right? So like think of Uber Black season-wise like that. So like during winter months, typically all of our private clientele is going to Colorado or going out of state. So it's like they don't need that service as much because they're going out of town. And like typically like there's no work, school's off, there's a bunch of different things. But on the back end, there's a lot of events. People like to get drunk for events. So it goes hand in hand, but there are seasons where, it's busier than some other months, if that makes sense.
Yes. So like specifically for Houston, we started in September. So September all the way up until November, it was kind of busy. But like when November approached, it slowed down, which was shocking for us because I was telling her, I'm like, it's the holidays. Like, why Uber Black not busy? And we found out the hard way that a lot of people not moving around like you think they are.
But that's when you have to exercise your options, which goes back into the vehicle you choose. Because if you have more options, now you can take Comfort, you can take XL, XXL, because people are still coming into town and, going from airport to airport. But ultimately, like, there are seasons. Some months are going to be busier than the others.
Good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Yes. Having that extra or those extra ride type options to take when Uber Black gets slow is so helpful. Because if you have a quota of 300, you'll still hit that quota.
Yeah.
You might have to take a more quantity of rides, but you'll still hit that quota.
But you can still hit the number.
Yes. So, yes, that matters a lot. Now, like I said, here in Houston, it slowed down November. It picked back up like spring.
February.
Yes.
It really just slowed down, 2 months?
Yeah, really 2 months and a half.
Yeah.
2 months and a half. But the thing is, we already had a clientele established. So we was still making money. It's just, it was slow on Uber Black. Like after we got done in slow season with Uber Black, servicing our private clients, we came home. Because we like, man, what's the point of going out to make maybe like $30 or $50? That's how slow it was. And I actually documented this on my TikTok if y'all want to go check it out.
And also he ended up getting FOMO because of it. So like, I know like he would feel bad some days. Like after we service our private client, he's like, oh, I might be busy. So let's go out because it may not be busy next week or tomorrow. So let's go out tonight and stay out as much as we can. And it's like, if you reach a quota, make sure you have a balance in place to where it's like, you know, because you don't want to like drain yourself from overworking, but then you also want to be able to pay your bills. So find that balance. There's always going to be people who's going to need to ride. So find balance.
Yeah. So the best way I can put it is fall is pretty busy. Winter season slow down. And then spring, summer is when it pick back up fully.
I think spring to me is like the busiest because I've noticed that like when we used to go out in the morning, there's a lot of people like flying in and like for the like Q1 going into Q2, like majority of corporations are like meeting in person. So people are like flying in all the time, like setting their goals for the year. So you're just getting like business people back to back, depending on the area that you're in. But from my experience, I feel like the February, March, April is like the busiest.
To me, I feel like it's more May, June. Because that's when college letting out, school letting out for the kids. And that's
Depends on the demographic as well.
Yeah, that is true. But I just think getting into summer is when it's the busiest because that's when families start to travel more. And I mean, obviously, corporate workers still showing up, flying in from different cities.
Not as much.
Not as much, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's just depending on your market and, you know, your personal situation. Now, next is events. When it comes to events, what I wish we knew sooner was do not go to the event whenever all the other drivers there or whenever they just now. Or let me take that back. Whenever it comes to events, do not go whenever the event already let out, if that makes sense. Like, go 30 minutes before or 40 minutes before, because you'll be able to catch a ride before it let out and then all this traffic come. Because if you're able to get there before the event actually let out, you can hurry up, catch a black, drop them off, and then come back and try to get another one before it get crazy busy to like double up on your money. Because one time we had the Houston Rodeo down here. I'm like, man, let me try this. So I pulled up to the event an hour early. I was like driving through, and then I caught a ride for $64 to take them 25 minutes away. So after I dropped them off, I came back and caught another ride for 40. So I was able to make $100 in like less than maybe
An hour.
45 minutes, an hour. Yeah. So if I didn't go early, I would have just caught that one ride and also been stuck in traffic. So point of me telling y'all that is, hey, whenever events let out, try to get there like 30 minutes out. 30 minutes to an hour earlier, so you can catch a ride, drop them off, and come back and try to get another one. And then same thing when it comes to like the ending of them letting out, like know like when it died down. That way you don't try to like come back again in hopes you get another ride, but you never get nothing, and now you're stuck in traffic. So.
Yeah. I mean, I agree. I don't really have much to say on that. I mean, it's just strategy as well. Also, it depends on like the pickup location. Like, whenever it comes down to events, sometimes like I learned my lesson from the rodeo. If it's like super busy, I'm just not gonna go. I just don't think like a $30 ride is worth me sitting in traffic for an hour.
Yes, true. Also, it just depends on your financial situation. If you know you need the money, gotta do what you gotta do. If you like, all right, I already made 400 or 300 for the night, and you don't want to sit in traffic, don't go back to that event. So it's all about different ways or however you want to play it as a driver. But test the market yourself, figure it out. We just wanted to share some tips with y'all of what we wish we knew sooner to try to help y'all out. Because whenever we got into this business, or whenever we first got into it, we didn't have nobody to help us out. We literally learned everything the hard way, and all we had was each other. We didn't have Frank to call up, or somebody else to say, hey man, do this, do this, do this. No, we learned everything the hard way. So now we're sharing it with y'all. So did you have anything before we get out of here?
Nope.
All right. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. We'll catch y'all next video.
Bye.